Okay, now let us solve the problem on first method, which is a net assert method. So net assert method, I have already shared the format with you. It is your total assets minus your total liabilities that gives you the net assets available for the equity shareholders. And then we need to apply this formula to know what is the value of equity share. So up till we had done in the last class. And I told you few points that you have to remember whenever you're doing your net assert method. Like if there is a fictitious asset, it should not be considered. If there is any kind of reserves, that should not be considered. If market value is not given, then we take the book value. And it is also assumed that equity shares are of the same class and they are equally paid. So these are certain points to be remembered whenever you're doing your value of share under net assert method. So having this in mind, let us do the first problem. The following is a balance sheet of X company as on 31st December 2015. You have share capital, reserves, 10% debentures, creditors. Under non-current, you have tangible fixed assets, intangible fixed assets, which is goodwill, and current assets. So total is 6,90,000 asset as well as liability. They have also told the share capital consists of 40,000 shares of rupees 10 each fully paid, which is 4 lakh. Under reserves and surplus, you have reserve 1 lakh 50, preliminary expense which is 10,000, and that is a total of 1 lakh 40,000. Other information that is given for you, the other fixed assets are valued at 4 lakh. So this is the market value that is given. The goodwill of the company is independently valued at 40,000. So this is also the market value. So basically the value which is given in the balance sheet is book value, and the value given in the adjustments is the market value. There was a contingent liability of 10,000 which has now become payable by the company. Earlier you had a contingent liability of 10,000, but now this contingent means may or may not. Okay, the liability, the expenses may occur or may not occur. That is the meaning of contingent liability. So earlier this 10,000 was treated as a contingent liability. Now it has become payable. So it has become payable means this should be treated as an outside liability. That is the meaning of the sentence. Compute the value of equity share under net assert method. So they have told you which method you have to follow. So first we'll write the formula under net assert method, which I have already given you. So first method that I am using is your net assert method. Okay. So under net assert method, your value of share, VS means value of share, is equal to net assets available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. Okay, this is a formula. Number of equity shares will be given in the problem, so you need not worry about it. So let us calculate the net assets. So the net assets calculation format I have given you. Basically net assets is all the assets minus your liability, and in that few assets you should not take, few liabilities you should not take. So as per the format, I am going to write all the asset. So if you look into the balance sheet, I will write tangible asset, then I will write intangible asset, as well as I will write current assets. Okay, so all these assets should be written, but they have told fixed assets should be taken at 4 lakh, goodwill should be taken at 40,000. So this is going to represent my market value. So I will be writing tangible fixed assets as 4 lakh. Okay, this is a market value. Then I will write intangible fixed assets, which are your goodwill, that is again given as 40,000. This is also your market value. Regarding your current assets, there is no market value given, so I am writing book value only. Book value is said to be 2 lakh. So this is my total assets, which is coming up to 6,40,000. Now what should I do? I have to minus the outside liability. Now just see which are your outside liabilities in the problem. Share capital we don't consider, reserve and surplus we don't consider. Share capital, if there is preference, we consider. Equity is not considered. Reserve and surplus we don't take. 10% debentures and sundry creditors. So these two represent my outside liability. So 10% debentures given is 50,000. Then creditors given is 1 lakh. Creditors given is 1 lakh. Okay. There is one more item which is given in the adjustment, that is your contingent liability, which is now payable. Okay, contingent liability now payable is 10,000. So 50 plus 1 lakh plus 10,000 will give me a total of 1,60,000 as my outside liability. So minus these two, you get 4,80,000. This 4,80,000 is the net assets available to equity shareholders. Okay, 4,80,000. What I have done is I have taken all the assets total and I have taken all the liabilities total. Preliminary expense is a fictitious asset, so it should not be included. So now substitute in the formula. Net assets available, what we have calculated is 4,80,000 divided by number of equity shares. So look into the question, see how many shares you have. You have only one class of shares. Usually problems might have one class or class 1, class 2, like that shares. But in this problem we don't have different classes. We have only one class of shares, which is 40,000. And nothing they have mentioned whether it is preference or equity. When nothing is mentioned, we assume it to be equity. So you have 40,000 shares. So number of shares is 40,000. So 4,80,000 divided by 40,000, you get 12 rupees per share is the value of equity under net asset method. Okay, I hope the problem is clear to all, because the problem is quite simple. You don't require any kind of adjustments or any kind of formulas that you have to remember. It is just a simple straight formula that you have to apply. Okay, now let us solve the second problem. The following is the balance sheet of Sai Limited as on 31st March 2015. You have share capital, reserve and surplus, which is a negative. So this is my loss. Then long-term loan, then trade payable, which is your creditors, tangible fixed assets, non-current investment, stock, debtors and bank. Okay. Now under share capital, 20,000 equity shares of 10 each, 2 lakh. 30,000 equity shares of 10 each, 6 paid. So if you observe here, we have class 1 and we have class 2. So in this case, I'll tell you how you have to do the problem. You also have preference shares of 1 lakh. Under reserves and surplus, they have clearly told it is P&L debit balance. Debit balance means it is indicating a loss for the company. Other information, current cost of fixed assets is 4,30,000 and stock is 80. So these are my market value. Investments are realizable at 30,000. So investment market value is 30. 50% of the debtors are doubtful of recovery. The total debtor is 1 lakh. In that 50% is doubtful of recovery means you may or you may not receive the amount from the debtors. So in the problem, I will show only 50%. I will not show entirely 1 lakh. I will show only 50,000. Cumulative preference dividend is in arrears for 5 years. Calculate the intrinsic value per equity share of the company by net asset method. So both means the same. Intrinsic value, net asset, both means the same. So first I will write the formula. Value of share is equal to net assets available to equity shareholder divided by number of equity shares. Okay, so first let us calculate your net assets. We'll start by one the asset which is given. So the first asset which is given is tangible fixed asset, and the market value is said to be 4,30,000. Then you have non-current investment, and this again they are asking you to take up at the market value, which is 30,000. The next asset given is stock. Again you have market value, they are asking you to consider it at 80,000, so I will take only 80,000 for the stock. Then you have debtors. Debtors they have told consider only 50%. So 1,50,000 is 50,000. Only 50% I am considering here for the debtors. Then the last one is the bank, which is 20,000. No information is given whether it is where you don't have any market value, because usually banks will not have any market value. It is always the book value. So after writing all this, take a total of all this, that will give you your assets total. Okay, so 4,30,000, 30, 80, 50 and 20, that gives you a total of 6,10,000 minus outside liability. So in the outside liability, as I have already stated, you should not show your equity share capital, and your debit balance will not come. Apart from that, you have long-term loan, which is at 90,000. Then you have creditors, which is at 30,000. Okay, remember the problem is not complete because you also have preference share capital, which is 1 lakh. And in the adjustment they have told you should also give preference dividend arrears, which was there for 5 years. Okay, so that is 1 lakh into percentage mentioned is 12% into, and it is in arrears for 5 years, so into 5. So 1 lakh 12% into 5 will give me 60,000. So this represents a total of my outside liability. 90, 30, 1 lakh and 60,000. Which gives me 2,80,000. Okay, so when you minus these two, you will get 3,30,000. Okay, but your problem is not complete. Why? Because you have to add something which is called notional call on shares. Notional calls means imaginary, means for temporary purpose I am doing that. Okay, now I'll just explain you why should we add notional call. Because in the equity shares, if you see, we have two classes. Class 1, 20,000, they have paid 10 rupees fully. Class 2, 30,000, out of 10 rupees they have paid only 6 rupees. That remaining 4 rupees is not paid. Now what is the assumption under your net asset method? What I have told you, your equity shares are assumed to be of the same class. Okay, if it is of different classes, you cannot find out the value for your equity shares. So if it is of different values, you have to convert it into the same value, and then only you should find the value of your equity share. So what I will do, class 1 is fully paid. This class 2 is of 30,000 equity shares. So this is 30,000 equity shares. Okay, these are your class 2 equity shares at rupees 10, but they have paid only 6 rupees. So that balance 4 rupees, I will call it as notional call. For temporary purpose, to find out the value of share, I am assuming that this class of shares are also paying me the complete amount. So 10 minus 6, the balance 4 rupees is collected now. So 30,000 into 4 will give 1,20,000. Okay, so 1,20,000 plus 3,30,000 will give you 4,50,000. This is my actual net assets available to the equity shareholders. I hope this part is clear. So now I assume that balance 4 rupees is also paid. So now class 1, class 2 both will be 10 rupees fully paid. So whenever if one class of the share are not completely paid, you have to first call that unpaid amount. That unpaid amount, whatever you're writing here, that will be called as a notional call, and then only you should find out your total net assets. Now rest remains the same. So here when I'm substituting, I will write it as 4,50,000 divided by, you have two classes. Class 1 is 20,000, class 2 is 30,000. So totally you have 50,000 equity shares. So your value per share is 9. Okay, your problem is not complete. I'll tell you why. Because 9 rupees is only for your 20,000 shares, because they have fully paid, right? So therefore value per share for class 1, that is 20,000 shares, your amount is 9 rupees. Value per share for class 2, which is 30,000 shares, it will be 9 minus 4, which is only rupees 5. Okay, only to find out the value of my share, I am just assuming that the balance is paid. But after finding your value, you have to minus that notional. Notional means imaginary. So just for my imaginary purpose, I have considered it to be fully paid. Once you find out the actual value, you have to deduct that imaginary amount, whatever you have written. So that is why I have written 9 minus 4. So for class 1, the value is 9 rupee. Class 2, the value is only 5 rupees, because 4 rupees is still not paid by these shareholders. Okay, so whenever you have different classes, first call the unpaid amount and then minus the unpaid amount to get the exact value. This is how you have to do this problem. We'll solve another problem. With this you will be able to understand the net asset method clearly, and this is the last problem also under this method. From the following particulars relating to Maltej Company Limited, calculate the value of each class of equity shares assuming that the company is under liquidation. Tangible intangible asset is 15 lakh. Outside liability is 3,37,500. Your share capital structure is 30,000 equity shares of 10 each fully paid. 45,000 equity shares of 10 each, but only 7.50 paid, just like the previous problem. 3,750 12% preference shares of rupees 100 each. So you also have preference shares. So there is no much calculation here. One more thing, if you notice here, the question does not tell use net asset method, but we are following net asset method. Why? Because the question clearly says the company is going for liquidation, and we know for liquidation we use net asset method. So this, we'll see how you have to do. Again, this problem is very simple. Same thing, value of share is equal to net asset available to equity shareholder divided by number of equity shares. Okay, so everything is directly given. First one that they have given is tangible and intangible asset. Okay, tangible and intangible asset. Okay, tangible and intangible asset given is 15 lakh. Okay, then outside liability, you don't have any other adjustment, so I'm directly writing outside liability, which is 3,37,500. Okay, you don't have any market value, book value and all, so directly I'm writing this. And also you should write your preference share capital, which is 12%, 3,750 into 100. Okay, 3,750 into 100, which is 3,75,000. Okay, so let us see. 15 lakh minus 3,37,500 minus 3,75,000, you get 7,87,500. But the problem is not complete because we have to add something called notional call. Okay, so what is the notional call given here? They have told you have two classes. One class has paid for 30,000. The other class has paid 45,000. The other class is of 45,000 shares at rupees 10 each, but they have paid only 7.50. So 10 minus 7.5 is 2.5. 2.5 is still remaining. So 45,000 into 2.5, you will get 1,12,500. This 1,12,500 should be collected from them. So now your total net assets available is 1,12,500 plus 7,87,500. It is 9 lakh. Okay. So therefore your net assets available will be 9 lakh divided by 45,000 second class, 30,000 is the first class. So 45 plus 30,000, you get 75,000. So your net asset available value of your share is 9 lakh divided by 75,000, which is rupees 12 per share. Since we have two classes of equity shares, I have told you what you have to write. So I will write value per share. Okay, value per share for class 1, which is 30,000 shares, it will be 12 rupees. But value per share for 45,000 shares, that is class 2, 45,000 equity shares, it will be 12 minus 2.50, that is equal to 9.50 is the actual value for class 2 shares, because this amount is still not paid by them. So this is how you have to do the problem under net assets method. It is very simple. You have to consider the market value. Keep this in mind. Consider the market value. Do not consider the fictitious asset. If you have two classes, first receive the uncalled amount and then do the actual calculation after finding out your original value, minus this with the amount which is not paid. So this is how you have to do the net asset method. I hope it is clear to all, because it is just the formula and the format. If you do this, you will be able to understand. So go through the video, then understand the problem and write in your notes. If you have doubts, you can ask. I'll explain you.